lot of the pain that I think we both experienced has kind of faded, but there's still some key points to stick with us. So 2003, I gender transitioned effectively March the 1st, 2017. And it was a tough time for me because I thought it was all about me. And what I didn't appreciate was the pain and the trauma it would cause my wife, my children, my parents, my brother, my sister-in-law, and all my friends. And around 2012, our lives were changing, and we sort of sat down one day, and I confessed to Marie that I'd been cross-dressing all of my life, all of our married life, because that's the language I had at the time, back in 2012.
It's like when you say your husband cross-dresses, you think you would run a mile, run out the door, not come back. But I didn't, I stayed.
But I didn't kind of feel oppressed or restricted because I had a busy life, running a business, all this kind of stuff was going on, and family and things, and it didn't feel that bad. And after about 4 months, and I've shown one of your colleagues my photo of a beard earlier, I can now see myself again in the mirror. And I started laser hair removal probably 3 or 4 months after that. And I realised that my persona was shifting towards that part-time, and I wanted that to be the dominant part.
The person that I'd married and that I thought was going to spend the rest of my life with was just disappearing in front of me, you know, various things. So, and the happier you got with your friend, and not coming back on a Sunday, but the more lonely I got. I was like on my own, very isolated. And my dad is nearly 90, and on the phone, sometimes he will misgender Joe, and he's now starting.
What marriage is after 36 years? You gave up full-time employment with an employer about 18 months ago. And one of the privileges we have is we earn sufficient money so we can support both of us.
And okay, I could have got counselling from that, but I wasn't strong enough to pick up that phone to make that call. And if they know somebody, a friend or family member, yeah, that it helps, and that's why we did the programme.
I think it's great because we've put policies together supporting any colleagues that are looking to transition, various kind of initiatives around. But that is colleague focused.
They need to be open to everybody. So that's not just the person that works there, that brings the whole of the family, their friends. If you've got policies and procedures in HR, yeah, make sure the person that's working the phones or their engineer or, you know, on the call desk is actually able to get to that information, that they know that there's something there, definitely.
And it happened to be a friend of mine who was, because I went there because a friend of mine worked there, and I sort of said to him, have you ever had diversity training around trans people? I blame the institution for not educating that person on contemporary language in that scenario, that cultural intelligence.
And I think that first and foremost, some people forget their humanity sometimes when, that's not putting any leaders or managers down, but I think that's the first point of kind of whenever you're dealing with any situation, it may have gone a different turn, or things may have been different if you felt supported or.
I have very much more empathy for what you're going through in life and some of the challenges you've had and some of the experiences. My previous IT company that I'd co-owned for about 15 years, I'd heard my co-directors and business partners make less than positive remarks about a trans person who was in a service office down the corridor. So I sold the business to my business partners, so effectively March the 1st, 2017. So that's what I did. And I guess I'd been kind of entrepreneurial, running businesses for the best part of 20, 30 years. And it took me best part of 18 months to raise my first invoice. We work as we need to, as self-employed people, but we do it together for the same interest.
So you mentioned the friends that sort of had a bit of a one-track mind for you as a couple.
It's much easier to be with people who've known me in the last 6 years than knew me before that.
I'd storm off to the bathroom, like you do, like a diva, and then she'd sort of coax me out and we'd do like 2 hours of filming.
I often think that one of the things that helped us through that early stage of transition was A, having the film crew there, but more importantly, it was us talking out loud how we felt, not necessarily to each other, but to a camera next to each other. And Marie's going, stop the filming, and Emma's chasing it down the corridor with the camera, and Marie's going, stop the filming. You looked his hand for the toilet, didn't you? It really captured the rawness of some of the things which they didn't show in the final documentary. It was exhausting. Because if you watch these Homes Under the Hammer, you know that one where they buy the house, I mean, having done a documentary, you watch this and you think, and obviously we're around if you want to have one-to-ones or something you don't want to share with the group.